Hello, welcome to A Very Explosion Over Christmas, our podcast dedicated to the merest of holidays, the festive season with films about Santa, snow, and being left home alone. The time of year we all get together and argue if Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Helping me grow my heart 3 sizes with Christmas cheer is Dylan Blight.
100% it is. 100%.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally all about Christmas. How's it not a Christmas movie?
Is it? I mean, it just takes place at Christmas, so I don't think...
Yeah, but the Penguin, wants his revenge around that time for that reason. You know, the whole town's Christmas. He wants to come out at Christmas to get revenge because that's when everything went wrong for him or whatever. He was, lost on Christmas. It's all about Christmas.
Alright. On this episode of A Very Explosion Over Christmas, we're discussing Violent Nights.
It's Christmas!
We decided that you could have one gift.
Early.
What is it?
That is a direct hotline to Santa Claus himself.
I can talk to Santa.
All right, revelers. Welcome to your worst Christmas ever.
Let's go!
You have $300 million in your personal vault. That's what I want for Christmas.
I don't want any trouble, okay? Someone's gonna scooch up that chimney.
Who is he? Because it's not your typical mall Santa.
Santa, are you there? Daddy said you were very busy tonight. My name's Cherie Lightstone. Are you gonna help us, Santa?
Yeah, Trudy.
Santa?
You're on my nice list.
Please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot themes and ending of this movie. With that said, let's jump to our discussion of it. Directed by Tommy Wirkola. Written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller. Starring David Harbour, John Leguizamo, Leah Brady, Cam Gigandet, Alex Hassell, Alexis Louder, Edie Patterson, and Beverly D'Angelo. An elite team of mercenaries break into a family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone hostage inside. However, they are prepared for a surprise combatant. Santa Claus is on the grounds, and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint. Dylan, what did you think of Violent Night? Is it on the naughty or the nice list?
It's on the nice list. I thought this is a lot of fun. It's literally... I was joking someone, no, but I can't remember. But I was joking about it being, it's they were everyone thinks Die Hard's a Christmas movie, so let's actually just make Die Hard, but with Santa Claus. And I'm halfway through the movie, I'm like, that's literally what this is. They just turned fucking Die Hard into a Christmas movie. Santa Claus is just John McClane now, and he's, ho, 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 I've got a fucking hammer now. It's just, it's all it is. He's literally talking to someone on a radio for the entire movie. It's crazy. The Die Hard references and whatever else going on here. Because coming into this is from the producers of John Wick, so you're just expecting John Wick, but no, it's 100% no. It's a John McClane, it's freaking Steven Seagal, Under Siege. It's that's where all the inspiration comes from for this. My only problem is I feel like it's a bit too long, and that middle section where he spends so much time talking to whatever her name is, Penny, Trudy, something, Trudy, close. Look, I like that's fine. I just felt like it was a bit too much. There were I like the girls fine. I like this little interaction. I like the little bond they build. I think that's good for the film and everything. But it was just a bit too much. At that middle section, it really sort of they overstretched that and bogged down the movie. Otherwise, I thought this was a lot of fun. I think it was funny. People in my cinema found it very funny. Lots of really good kills and stuff like that when he starts going ham. I enjoyed that shit. So, yeah, definitely on the nice list.
Yeah, it's on the nice list for me. This is a really fun Christmas movie. Definitely not for the kids, but it is a great time. David Harbour plays a perfect Santa. It's interesting, this kind of current trend of a couple of Christmas movies where Santa's wondering what Christmas even is anymore, damn kids these days don't even appreciate anything. All they want is video games and cash.
It's funny watching this, and we're watching this the Santa Clauses series. You know, it's like got jokes about Christmas spirit dying, and then like Amazon and stuff. And there's that scene where he like walks into a house and sees the Amazon box just piled under a tree, just throws a present under there or whatever.
Absolutely. I agree with you. The middle kind of did sag a bit, like in the process of like Santa patching up his injuries, I guess, from that period on.
It's literally the scene after John McClane has the shootout and then has to run through all the glass, and then he has to patch up his foot, and he's talking to old mate down below, and he has to talk him through it and be like, John McClane's like all down. He's like, I think this is it. I think I'm done. And then old mate's like, no, mate, you're going to make it through. And I was like, that's exactly what the scene is, except for this makes it way longer than it is in Die Hard.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the only other thing was like the family, the center of it is kind of unlikable for the most part. It's like,
I mean,
yeah, I don't really care either way if like they all die. I mean, even the dad's a little bit like either way. I mean, Trudy and the mum. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad. I would feel bad about, but
I actually sort of like the dad. I feel like that. I don't know the actor's name, but I feel like that actor brought something to that role where I did find his. Like, I thought it was believable that he was trying to do the right thing, but still sort of struggling
doing a terrible
give up with but like still struggling to give up the money. But I felt like his heart was there, and the girl was good. I actually feel like the problem was the mum. I just feel like the mum got nothing until that final scene where she gets that one-liner about starts to finally do something as a family or whatever after, and then she gets to shoot or whatever else. Everything else, she's just so, and it's everyone else in the family didn't really need to be likable because they're supposed to be unlikable. The mum, the sister, the partner, like their whole thing is. But I feel like if that character of the mother had just been had a bit more personality or something, I think that would have fixed it for me at least.
Yeah. I do like the reveal, like that the dad stole the money and like revealed it with the present that he left for his mum.
I sort of guessed it as soon as he didn't want the card to be read or whatever. And because he had already whispered about the money and to her like prior or whatever.
I didn't realize he was going to steal the money. I thought he was just going to leave.
No, I should, yeah.
Like, guess what? I'm never coming back. You're a bitch. That whole thing. But, as much as they were unlikable, there were elements of that family that were super enjoyable to watch, including his sister and her partner, who incredibly obnoxious and desperate for money. Him explaining this pitch deck, terrible.
I like when he goes, I'm big in parts of Asia, and then she goes, we were in parts of Asia and we couldn't even go out. I was like, who said we were in parts of Asia? Is that a place? Like
but no, my favorite joke though is them being very upset that, obviously they've been sucking up to their mother for a long time, and they named their daughter Gertrude. And they're upset about that. I wish I had a girl because then I call her Gertrude. It's like, you called your son Bertrude.
It's not even a name. It's made up.
So stupid. But yeah, Santa, like, obviously dealing with opening at the start where he's super depressed at the bar, making several jokes with the shopping center Santa. Does vomit on the bar lady, on the roof.
So it really set the tone for the movie.
It did really set the tone. It was a good tone setting. Even just the lackadaisical, could you give this to your nephew because, it'll save me a trip.
Save me a trip, yeah.
And then we do get a whole sequence of him, like, delivering presents over the night.
Pissing off the sleigh and whatever else.
Yeah.
Stealing alcohol wherever he can find it.
Absolutely anywhere. Being not liking some milks, not liking some cookies.
Really, it makes sense once you find out he was a leader of a raiding Viking group.
Yeah,
like
so that's interesting elements of like the history of Santa. Like he takes off his shirt to patch himself up, and he sees all these tattoos and stuff, and it's like, damn, is it Santa or is it Thor from God of War?
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Of course, you got the group of mercenaries led by John Leguizamo as Scrooge. They've got fun Santa or Christmas themed nicknames they've got to keep track of. And yeah, some of the action is really good. Obviously, you've got the first fight scene where, Santa's just trying to get by and takes the dude out the window onto the icicle, stabbed on the icicle that he kind of saw before. And barely missing it as well, so that was a good scene. And then you obviously have that other fight scene in the arcade. Yeah.
I was thinking the barn when he gets the hammer.
Yeah, the barn, yeah, but then you've got the arcade, the games room or whatever. Yeah. Which, lots of innovative, little weapons to use. Sock full of bill balls. Before finally sticking him with the star from the Christmas tree. And turning it on, which, was the final.
Yeah. Not sure on the logistics of that, but...
Yeah, I don't know if that would actually happen. Yeah. I'm also not sure if it will light you on fire.
Yeah. I'll take it.
But it was fun. It was super enjoyable.
It was fun, yeah.
But yeah, when he gets that hammer, it's game over for the bad guys.
Mm.
But yeah, super enjoyable. They've got that twist of the kill team that they think's going to be coming down and save them all has been in on it the entire time. John Leguizamo, this entire film, is chewing up scenery, playing the ultimate bad guy,
but not in a bad way. I feel like he's I don't feel like he's on a line.
No, he's he's embodying Hans Gruber in the best possible way.
Yeah. It's definitely not over the top where it's cringy or anything.
No, it's super enjoyable.
He's just a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, you could say the most over the top moment is when he says he wants to use the Nutcracker to take out one of the dad's testicles.
Oh no, it's pretty villainous,
It is pretty villainous. I do love the mercenary, the chick mercenary who's I'm not touching his penis. I'm not touching his testicles. I've seen you scoop up brains. I will happily scoop up brains. I'm not touching his testicles. And old Krampus, the sociopath, very happy to. But yeah, I've never seen nutcrackers used in that way. It's even to destroy the guy's finger, all that.
I don't know if I've seen that before, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I've seen people use cigar cutters as things in movies. So
I love Krampus being a little psychopath, because obviously he's the one who suggests they give each other presents, and then he's ultimately beat the shit out of by these three non-combatants with fire prodders and stuff. That was super enjoyable. That was one of the better kills, even though it was these three people just wailing on this person after they these three family members turned on each other and said the other person should be killed first.
You know what I loved?
What?
The Home Alone spice.
The whole Home Alone sequence, which they do tease from the very start with the little girl having watched Home Alone the night before.
The animal.
And then just doing the scream, which was incredibly high pitched. And then telling Santa, I'll set up some I'll set up some booby traps.
She's I'll set up some booby traps in Home Alone. I don't know what that is, but good idea. Just do that. I also like the bits he just doesn't know anything. He's just he's even when it throws a gun at Andy, he's does anyone know how to use this? Because the whole movie, I'm just take a gun, just shoot a gun, and then they're he doesn't know how to use it.
Nobody's
he tried to use one once.
No one wants
at the start.
guns for Christmas.
Yeah, well, he tried to shoot one at the start, but the safety was on. And then he never tries again for the whole movie.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole sequence of she clearly sets up. It's what if Home Alone was not cartoony?
It's like Corridor Crew did the Home Alone.
because it's set up first, but then obviously she's put a bunch of nails at the bottom of the
super obvious.
The chairs, super obvious. Puts the one nail in the middle of the ladder, but he doesn't notice, the one step that she cut halfway. And it's pretty gruesome. He takes a nail straight through the bottom of his head.
He used to be a world-class eater, and then he took an arrow to the mouth.
Yeah. And then, he falls, I think he trips over at one point. And
he gets that, and then, he gets out of the nail right as the bowling balls are coming down. So he gets hit on the head with a bowling ball, and then he falls down into a bunch of those nails that he said was stupid to leave out on the map because it's super obvious.
It's
then he manages to get out of
that.
Then he holds up a nail and he's looking at it for some stupid reason. Yeah. Then that gets smacked right into his head, and then he goes back down on the nails again. He dead.
He did. So this little girl has kind of killed this dude.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I guess the other mercenary is really responsible because she was the one who knocked that final.
She knocked that ball backwards. It had stopped. That's a good point. Yeah. But I mean, the fact he was holding it up, looking at it's kind of assisted suicide.
Oh man. And then she's taken out. She after taking multiple bowling balls and stuff to the face. After she puts a bunch of glue on the ground.
I assumed it was glue. It was hardcore glue.
It was hardcore. She gets knocked over and she's rips half her scalp off. But yeah, then she gives a couple of easy balls, like basketball, soccer ball. It's another bowling ball, and then a dumbbell to the face.
I don't know how she whipped them in so fast, because the only thing that's confused me, because she's throwing these things, and you would have thought that by the time she put the dumbbell in and fired it, but the way it's cut, as in it just magically appeared like a video game, and she's firing it. But whatever,
It's fine.
I'll let it go.
Who cares about that?
Yeah,
and of course, Santa manages to save her before she does any real damage. And then, Santa tells her to cover her eyes and ears and sing Jingle Bells as loud as you possibly can before he smashes her face in with the hammer.
Yep.
That barn sequence, incredible.
Yeah, really, really good.
Not just, all the hammer work, but also him putting several of them through a shredder.
Snow thing or whatever, yeah.
Pretty brutal.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we kind of get this final confrontation in some shed where obviously John Leguizamo is set up throughout the entire film. He hates Christmas. He blames Christmas for setting him on this path to evilness because, he pushed a guy down the stairs while he was trying to rob their house on Christmas Eve. Yeah, so
when his thing pops up and he looks at it, I don't know, I was trying to see if all the things you can read. The thing that stood out to me is killed his own brother or some shit like that.
Yeah, this is murderer hates Christmas.
Yeah, hey, murderer hates.
I
Christmas,
do love the list. I think that's a cool design choice to have it more magical and that kind of stuff. Final confrontation, fighting it out in the middle of nowhere. Hammer versus Hooks. I don't think he even has the hammer at this point. I can't remember what Santa was fighting with.
He has a hammer. He has a hammer down there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and then the final.
The problem is that he doesn't have skates on, and he keeps slipping and sliding.
That's true. Doesn't have snow boots on.
Yeah.
Or ice boots or whatever. But he finally is able to take him down by using his Christmas magic to go up the chimney with him, and just rips him up a chimney.
Yep, and then laughs about it.
Laughs about it, and then more parts of him just drop back down to earth. Before he takes 6 or 7 bullets straight to the chest.
Yep.
But he's saved by all these people believing in him, which freaks him out.
I really like this movie, the whole thing where he doesn't even understand how anything works. And it's not even a bit they introduce at the end of the movie. Yeah, the whole movie is just Christmas magic. I don't know what to say. But it's it just makes it. I like how that's just set up throughout the whole movie. He doesn't even understand how any of this stuff works. And I also like how they explain that he used to be this Viking dude or whatever.
Yeah.
And at some stage he became Santa, but you don't really need to know because he doesn't need. At some stage he got the stuff. He became Santa.
Saving it for the prequel.
Yeah, maybe. But he doesn't even understand how all the stuff works. He doesn't understand how sack works. Doesn't understand how the Christmas magic works. Doesn't understand how he's lived for over 1,000 years. You don't need to. It's fine.
Yeah. We do know that he is married.
You got the Mrs. Claus.
He does have a Mrs. Claus. And the reindeer did come back at the very end, and they brought his very special hammer and his spare sack.
Skull Crusher or something.
Yeah.
Because when it shows up, the little girl goes, Skull Crusher!
I love him explaining what he would do with his hammer back in the day. How he'd line like 3 people up and just
get them all in one shot.
Get them all in one shot talking to this little girl. Yeah.
It's like, if there was a naughty list back in the day, I would have been top of that sucker.
Yeah. Incredible. Anything else you want to talk about from Violent Night?
No, I think we covered all. I mean, it's exactly what I wanted it to be. I guess it's just a very fun Christmas movie. But like, I like having these mix where I can watch stuff like The Santa Claus and it's like a more family friendly movie. And I like having stuff like this. I can pull out and watch too, where it's just more fun. Like it's an action movie, but it's fucking Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Like it makes for fun, and it still has the heart of a Christmas movie. I feel like that's the thing that makes it work. Is you do at the center of this have the story about believing in Santa Claus and like family and. Family's more important than money, and like the messaging in this movie is oddly on point for a Christmas movie. It's just very violent.
Yeah,
like
again, I think it's interesting to have a Santa Claus that doesn't believe is kind of struggling with the belief of Santa, like having a midlife crisis, I guess. And
he's pulling out all those when he's fighting a dude in the arcade bar or whatever. He just keeps video game. Look, someone wish for a fucking sword or
just the silliness of like some of the presents that come out, like when they finally capture him, they're like pulling out stuff different from stuff from the
guy
sack.
carrying around a chessboard?
Yeah. Pulls out what is clearly a ukulele.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, really enjoyable. All right, let us know what you thought of Violent Night by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at Very Explosion Network Christmas, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Tell people about the show. Leave us 5 stars. Anyone can leave 5 stars. And if you really like this episode, thought it was worth it all, head over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, remember, Santa Claus is coming to town.
My canon is The Northman's the prequel, and Anya Taylor-Joy is Mrs. Claus.
Maybe. I don't know if it fits with the canon at the end of the movie of that movie.
I don't want to spoil the end of that movie, but I'm just saying, there's no reason why it doesn't.